The purpose of the AMP program is to apply mathematics to science. The relationship between math and science, they're so closely related. The correlation is positive. So what I want to do is implement those mathematical skills that kids are using when they're in Algebra 1 and when they're taking biology. So bringing it all together.
Some of my challenges in Ms. Mason's class would be trying to get all my projects done and at her standard, because she has a high standard, which does help prepare for other classes.
Some of the challenges that I personally had in her class was completing some of the projects and assignments she would give us, mostly because they required a lot of creativity.
The challenges were to do self-learning, because when I'm not used to doing self-learning, because in other classes the teachers are usually in front of you and teaching you all the stuff, but in her class you're forced to learn by yourself by doing projects, because we're in a lot of projects together. She assigns a lot of projects, I'll say that, and then I basically learn off of that, and I like it. So
my challenge in Ms. biology class was like when she first teaches the subject and me first understanding the subject, but once like we get more into the subject and I start comprehending it more.
Besides biology, she would implement math and reading. For example, we did like a book report in her class, and then we would do situations like real life scenarios with mathematical equations with what we were learning.
Just a little math here and there. Some of the subjects, I forget which one now, but you know, like they kind of required some form of like mathematics to get the answer to.
there's math and reading, because I say math because of the formulas that we have. The project she assigns, we have to use math equations to find in the graph that we're looking for. That's math. And then for reading, we're always doing CERs all the time, which is claim, evidence, and reasoning. And we have to write a lot. And then she grades our writing.
She puts in math in her subjects and also writing and reading. And like we do a lot of that almost every Wednesday. But, yeah.
I would describe her class as challenging, because if you don't know how to manage your time, or if you don't like to do work, it can get challenging and stuff piles on. But if you're productive and do things when it's assigned, it's not that hard.
I guess interesting, and yeah, interesting, because you know, like I never know what I'm going to do in that class exactly. Because for most classes, I kind of know what it is, but with her, it's always like something new we're going to do. You know, it kind of, it varies. So interesting.
Fun, because her class, she assigns us with partners, and although I don't know much people, when I'm with my partners, I get to know them, and then we laugh sometimes, and then we do our work together, and then I understand the topic more. And I like her class because based on what she assigns us to do.
I say it's fun because like she know how to connect to us. Like she don't just teach the subject and we be done. Like she actually like real world connections and talk to us and have fun with it.
Ms. Mason has moved from more of a teacher-led classroom to a student-led classroom. She has them doing a lot of inquiry-based activities. She's pushing them to think, create graphs, solve problems, so that they're doing more of the thinking and the learning instead of waiting for the teacher to give them the information.
Two things. Ms. Mason's teaching has grown in the fact that she uses inquiry-based learning, and then also she does interdisciplinary teaching. So she incorporates science and math a lot, and then also she has moved towards projects and experimentation more with her students.
I noticed that Ms. Mason's teaching was a lot more interactive this year. She came up to my classroom and she asked me questions about exponential functions, and there was some things that she was trying to figure out how was I wording it in my classroom so that even in her classroom she can kind of use some of that same language and vocabulary. And I think that that helps the students a lot because they see that what they're learning in biology correlates to what they're learning in algebra. And I think that's helpful for them to see that the subjects that they're learning do connect.
This year, Mrs. Mason's teaching has made me see what teaching really can be, and that it's not just you standing in front of the class and lecturing. It's actually engaging the students and making learning interactive and hands-on.
I've noticed that she is really trying to embrace parts of the program that she is a part of, the AMP program, to be able to blend the math and the sciences so that students are able to see the connections.
If I were to describe Ms. Mason in one word, it would be supportive. Last year when I started at Taylor, she was such a great support for me. She's a great team leader and she's always there. Her special phrase is, "I got you covered like a blanket," and that's basically what she does. She always covers us, takes care of us whenever we need help.
I would say innovative. She has come up with some great ideas for inquiry-based. She has them up, moving around, going to lab stations, building things, working through problems. She's just always creative, coming up with new things to help them learn.
So the word I think that comes to mind is like innovative. She's taking the leap of faith to move forward and try to really let the kids see the connection between how the math that they learn and the science that they learn really have interconnections, and that they're able then to carry over.
Proactive, because when she came down to ask about the exponential questions, I was actually, I was surprised just to see that, that she would take time out of her day and, be planning enough in advance to come and ask, how am I wording this? What is it that I can say to support you from what your students are doing in your class, and I can reinforce it in mine? And so I think that was very proactive of her, and I look forward to working with her even more in the years to come.
Passionate, because she cares about her students. She cares about not only what they're learning in the class, but that they feel good about themselves, that they're aware and awake and present.